Welcome back to the Iron Insight. Thank you for starting your week off right with the Iron Insight every Monday morning at 4 a.m. I'm Bryn Welds,
And I'm Andrew Nichols with Southern Leatherworks.
and today we're sitting down with Eve. How long have you been welding?
It's about November will be about 2 years for me now. So,
Did you start in high school or?
so my school didn't offer anything. They offered us to go to like a vocational school, and me being young in high school, I was stupid. I was like, "Oh, vocational school is stupid. I'll get made fun of. I don't want to go." And so around my junior year, I kind of realized like college really wasn't for me. So my senior year, my dad and my aunt worked for Lincoln Electric, and so they were like, "Well, you can go to welding school at Lincoln, and we can give you the family discount that they offer." And I was like, "Well, if anything, I'll just try it out, see if I like it." So that's what I ended up doing after I graduated. I went to weld school. I did the 16-week comprehensive course. So I did stick, MIG, flux core, and TIG, as well as plasma cutting and torch cutting. And so it was very a challenge at first, and I definitely like where I am now with welding. I was nowhere near when I left that school. It's just amazing to me how much I've progressed since I've left. I'm very proud of myself for it. So
What do your aunt and uncle do at Lincoln? I had no idea.
my aunt, she is the consumables manager, I believe. So she handles all of that department. And then my dad, he is a supervisor for I believe it's the paint line and also the welding line. So they don't really do like much of like actual like welding. They do a lot of spot welding. So I remember when I was growing up, he ran the paint line, and then a few years back, he got the promotion up to being supervisor there. So
Hmm.
That's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Huh. And that's in Ohio, right?
yeah, it's in Euclid. It's about 15 minutes outside of Cleveland.
That's where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from Amherst, Ohio, so I'm about 30 minutes from Cleveland. I'm right in between Cedar Point and Cleveland, so I'm in the midst.
For those that don't know, the people listening, your boyfriend is carp welding. We had him on I think our fourth or fifth episode. It was early in the podcast. So and you live in Detroit with him now. How
Yeah.
far is that from home?
It's about an hour and 45 minutes from home, so it's not bad at all. It's just basically the turnpike the whole time, so it's not a bad drive. It's just boring because it's Ohio and you have to see a lot of cornfields.
I mean, it's not much better in Nebraska. But Andrew's down in Florida, back home again.
Yeah, back home again. I was up in Nebraska for about a year working on a ranch out there, so me and Bren were hanging out a little more, but had to get out of the cornfields, I guess.
The youngest snowbird to ever do it.
It did it opposite as well. I was more like a come up there for the winter time and come summertime, it seemed like. So
Yeah, but the summer in Florida is probably a little bit better. So you kind of got into welding just by not knowing what else to do, right?
Yeah. That's like how I was kind of just like, I really don't know what I want to do. Like, so it was either going into nursing if welding did not work out. Because I've always been a person to learn better from working with my hands. I've always been that hands-on learner. It just helps me, like seeing something visually in front of me helps me so much. So I was like, well, let me try this. And I'm going to face my fears, because the biggest challenge for me walking into school was actually my entire life I was extremely scared of fire. And our first week in school, I had to do torch cutting, and I refused to light my own torch for 3 days. And I was like, finally, I was like, you know what? I got to just deal with it. I'm going to face my fears. And I did it. I jumped every time I would do it because the big, like, it goes boom. And I was like, oh, it was so bad. But it was either welding or going to college and going to nursing for me, because my grandma was a nurse my entire growing up. So I was kind of like interested in that as well. But I'm happy that welding did work out for me. So.
You don't ever regret it?
No, I mean, there's days where I'm like, why did I do this?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, But I feel like everyone has those days, though, in the long run of things. But I'm very happy that I chose to do it because I'm the first actual person in my entire both sides of my family. I'm first person to be blue collar. So it's kind of a challenge because I kind of feel like I'm the black sheep of the family sometimes, just because no one really understands what I do. But I'm very like proud, and everyone's very proud of me for being able to.
So you work in the aerospace side of the industry, right? Hmm. Yeah. Is it typically TIG welding? Is that all you do there? Damn. Have you welded in canal before? Hmm. That's what I heard. It's kind of fuzzy. I've never welded it personally. Do you? How long have you been at this company now? And that's your first job out of school, right?
Like working for me.
Hmm.
So I ended up leaving, and then I went to a company back home, back here in Michigan. I was on the motorsports side of things, so I was building cars, for the Le Mans, and that was pretty
Wow.
cool. Um, but they ended up firing me, because they told me I wasn't learning fast enough for them. But in the reality of things, since day one since I started, I was having a lot of issues with them because I was the first ever girl to work there too. And so I kind of feel like it was a very like big challenge for them to deal with, like a girl being in the shop. And they refused to let me weld. Mainly, my job was to sandblast 10 hours a day, 5 days a week.
Oh man.
So it was miserable. But in the long run, I kind of had that gut feeling that they fired me because I was a
Hmm.
female. So it was hard, but I got through it.
So at that first job out of school with the excavators and cranes and all that, was that MIG welding?
Yeah, that was fully MIG welding. There were a couple projects I had to work on that were galvanized. That was a big whoa. I got welder's flu from that, and that was not fun. So that's part of the reason why I kind of didn't have an issue leaving there, because when I did that, I was like, next time I do this, can I get a respirator? And they were like, we don't have any.
Oh.
I was like, oh, okay.
Nice.
So I was like, I'll see you guys later.
Pack my shit up. I'll see y'all later. Bye.
At my first job, I had to hard surface a lot of time. There was nobody else that like the guy that taught me how to hard surface up and left all of a sudden, and so
Wow.
then it was like, okay, Bryn, you're gonna learn this, and you're gonna be the one. And I was like, all right, but it was expensive ass wire, that hard surfacing wire is, but it's so smoky. I have videos like after one day of welding it, my hood would just be. It looked like 3 years of use and no cleaning. It was filthy,
Wow.
and they used to have a respirator for it, and I asked them for it, and they're like, "We don't know what happened to it. How the hell you lose the only respirator in the shop?" And there was no air filtration systems. There was nothing. That place was
Yeah.
filthy. So it's
So,
kind of the same way. Like I was ready to leave.
so how did you leave? How
Yeah.
did you leave that job, Eve? Did you give them a 2 weeks notice, 1 week's notice? What'd you give them?
Oh. This is funny. So I was up in Michigan because I went on a trip to Europe, and I came back early because shit went wrong. And so I was talking to Robert. We were out to dinner, and I was like, I'm done. And he was like, really? And I was like, yeah. Like, I'm ready to move up here. I'm ready to find something else. Like, I'm ready to get things like going with us, like our relationship, like better, whatever. And so that day, I ended up texting my boss and says, I'm not gonna be coming back into work anymore. And she was like, who is this? And I said, Eve. And she was like, she did not even respond. I just quit on the spot because I was just so done. It was I feel bad that I did it that way, but it was literally a sweatshop too, and I also had a workers' comp incident with them where I accidentally tacked something on the opposite way when I was supposed to. I read the blueprint wrong, and so I had to like cut the tack and then hammer it off to try and like get it loose. And it came and smacked onto my knee. My knee entire like filled up with fluid and everything. I had to get
Oof.
it all figured out, and it was a whole incident with them. But that's all out of the picture. But they got all mad at me because I had a doctor's note to allow me to sit down when I was working because I could not stand on my knee for like more than an hour at a time. And then they would yell at me for sitting down, like, do you have a doctor's note? Do you have a doctor's note? And I was like, they literally sent you it over the email. Like, just read your stuff. But it was just a whole shit show. But I kind of, like, realized that it's okay to job jump from time to time. Like, I've read a lot into, like, people, like, kind of doing that. Like, they'll see out a job for, like, 3 months, then go to another one, see what works for them and what doesn't. And then hopefully they'll find a company in the long run that they really do enjoy, like, their procedures and how they do things. And that's kind of where I'm at now. I really don't plan on leaving my job unless, like, Robert and I start our own business or we move to Missouri. That's really where I probably end up leaving in the long run. But
Absolutely.
right now it's out of the picture.
And the thing is they would probably fire you over text anyways, so it goes both ways.
Yeah.
I think that's like
Yeah.
the good part about our generation. Well, a lot of people don't want to fucking work, but one of the good parts is, like, we don't give a fuck about the company. Like, if you're not going to treat us right, then we'll leave right then and there.
Right then and there. Someone else will hire us.
Yeah.
We're okay.
Yeah. I got super
I was like,
lucky that I left that shop. I gave them a 2-month notice because the deal was, that company did a lot for me and Andrew, though. That I like the company. I don't like everybody above me was on vacation for like a month, and I'm like, dude, I gotta put my 2 weeks in, and it ended up just being 2 months because I waited for everybody to get back, and so I could tell them. And man, my supervisor was out on. He got cancer, and I felt so bad because he was a great supervisor. I probably would have stayed if he was there at the time, but the acting supervisor was not my guy. We weren't getting along, and it was this whole deal. But yeah, I mean, one thing about our generation is they just don't give a shit. Like, company loyalty isn't as valuable as I think it was back in the day.
Yeah. So, like, I absolutely love, like, how my company treats me, just because I'm also very short. You saw me at FabTech last year. I'm 4'11", and it's very hard for me to do a lot of the things that the other guys can do or the other girls can do at work. And so they've bought me like 3 different step stools. They buy me different different like gloves that'll fit me properly. They're actually working on trying to get a platform for one of the jigs that we have to make sure I can actually build this part, because it is pretty, like, wide. But it's like it means a lot to me that they're willing to, like, meet me in the middle and try and work with me, because, like, obviously if they didn't care about me and, like, value my work, they wouldn't be doing the things that they are doing for me. So
Absolutely.
Do they have a hydraulic table that goes up and down?
No,
Oh, dang.
they just have cranes, like the overhead cranes, like for the Inconel units, pretty much to kind of, those things are pretty heavy, but so we just have, like, the jigs are on wheels, so we just have to roll them around everywhere, but they don't lower or raise or anything. So I'm like, half the time I'm climbing on top of them and, like, trying to, like, file these things down, and people are like, the first time they saw me do that, like, what are you doing? And I'm like, you see my height, right? Like, this is the only way I can do it. If you want me to work, I'm going to make it work.
And you just announced recently that you're on, what do they have a name for it, like Team Lincoln or something like that?
They're kind of, I believe it is like a brand, they call it a brand ambassador. So there's 2 different sides. There's a retail side and there's an industrial side. And right now I'm on the retail side of things, so I'm trying to help get out there the welders that they sell at, like, Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff like that. I'm just trying to kind of bring in some more customers and stuff. But eventually I do want to get moved over to the industrial side of things, just so I can kind of work a little bit more with what they can offer. But I'm super excited about it. It's very exciting. I've been working with them for trying to get with them for over a year now with it. And a couple months ago, like, I want to say it was January, February, they messaged me, and that's when we kind of got the ball rolling. And then we finally, a couple weeks ago, I finally signed my contract with them. So, and then I just got notified by my mom that Friday. I'm so confused. Is it Saturday today?
Yeah.
So yesterday, my welder arrived at my mom's house, so I have to go get that too.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to work with them and see what I can do with them. I'm excited to just kind of grow and see what's gonna happen.
What welder is it?
It is the 180. It's a multi-process
That's probably
welder,
the one.
but I know it's 180.
I think it's 180 MP.
I think it's MP. I want to say it's
Yeah, that's what I believe it is. It's just like there was so many different ones that I had to go through and look at. I'm just
You got to choose?
I'm just such a brain fog right now. Yeah, I got to choose which one I wanted, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But I also told them that I need to be able to run aluminum because that is like since that's really all I do at work is it's really much so become my niche with welding that I love running aluminum. It's amazing.
I saw recently you did some aluminum art, like TIG art.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that before. Is that something that you're wanting to get into more?
Robert is very what's the word? He's very like this is my thing. You cannot do my thing. With the stainless weld art, but he's like, you can do aluminum weld art. And I'm like, well, I really like I kind of just do it for fun at this point. But like I definitely want to kind of get more into like making more like sculptural based stuff. I really want to like kind of get into like almost like furniture making with it. But that's mainly like kind of his type of thing. But I kind of just do it for fun and like whatever. Just when I'm bored and have the material, I'll just do something like that. But yeah.
And another kind of art you do, you started painting people's logos, right? Like Carp's behind you. I don't know what's to the right, but
that's from just the poster about Carp. But like here, like this is I have Carp's right there, and I did one for Dabs Wellington, and then I just did one for Lucky Welds.
I saw that one. Yeah, that was cool.
That one took me forever to do. It was so hard.
And Joker Welding Supply, right?
Yeah, I did one for Joker. I definitely like it's just kind of hard because not a lot of people want to spend the money on the paintings, and I get that, it's fine. But I'm also not going to charge what I don't deserve because I'm very hard on myself when it comes to my paintings. That I'm like listen, like this is what I think this can be worth. Like I actually he told me, he was like, I honestly believe like you should have charged me more than what you did charge me for the painting. And I even gave him 2 of them. The second one I kind of just threw that in as like a little free one for him because I did take a little bit longer than I expected to. So I was like, I'm sorry. Like here's just something for me like to apologize and hopefully we're on a good page. But he's a great guy. He's been there for Robert and I through a lot of things, especially like recently.
Joker?
So no, Lucky.
Yeah, his logo looked hard. There was like
it was
shades.
very hard. Like the skull and the 4-leaf clover. At first I tried to make it very realistic, and I was like, I really am so struggling so hard right now. I need to figure out a different way I can pan this out and make it look still like a skull, but like different in my own style. And so I'm very happy with how I ended up having it turn out because I think it looks like really cool. So,
are you guys planning to going to FabTech again this year?
Yeah, we're going to FabTech, and then we do plan on going to Universal Studios at least one of those days because we went on the cruise for Robert's 21st, and so I told him, I was like, I want to go to do this for my 21st, so that's what we're gonna do. I'm really excited to go there though. So.
Yeah, I don't think I'm making a Disney or Universal trip. I'm trying to go fish. But
well, that's gonna be awesome. We'll be happy to see y'all there then.
Yeah.
What did you think about your first FabTech?
It was a little overwhelming.
That's huge.
Because there was just so much stuff to see, like so many people to talk to. And I have a feeling that this year's kind of going to be a little bit more overwhelming for me because last year, everyone knew me as, like, everyone knew Carp Welding, but no one knew, like, EveWalksTheWeld. So I was just Carp Welding's girlfriend who also welds. And so I made a promise to myself. I said, I'm going to make a name for myself that people know me on their own. By next year, FabTech, I'm going to have people walking up to me and, like, be like, are you Eve? And I'm like, yeah. So I have a feeling that that's what's kind of going to happen this year some more. But pretty much all I did was hang out with Dabs and then Robert throughout FabTech. It was so much fun though. I absolutely loved it. It was a really good experience, especially like kind of being able to be on vacation, but also being able to experience something that I do enjoy a lot. So it was just very, very overwhelming, like seeing all of that stuff and trying to like see it all at once too.
Right. The show itself is fun, but it's like it's what you do after that makes it like what
Yeah.
it makes it way better. Like being able to see the city itself. Like when we were in Atlanta, me and Andrew, we didn't get around too much, but I wasn't really a fan of Atlanta, and I know Andrew isn't either. But Chicago was definitely that was a cool city. I would go back. What?
We spent so much money on scooters. It was so
That's what
bad.
Mark was saying.
Yeah, and Dabs on the Dabs episode, he said that too. I've never ridden one of those, like the
Yeah.
Oh, they're a blast.
or whatever.
They're a blast. They're well worth
They go fast. They go pretty fast for what they are. But we probably traveled to some areas that we shouldn't have not traveled to. But we probably saw the entire city on those things. It was so much fun. Like just riding those scooters around everywhere with Dabs and Robert. It was amazing. Like FabTech was awesome, and then being able to go do that outside of it was just like, I love this life right now. It was awesome. It was like a movie.
Yeah, it's like when you said you probably went to places you shouldn't have. You probably rode by my Airbnb. It was
Probably.
the first night. So, like, because I wasn't 21, I couldn't get a hotel myself. So I stayed in the Airbnb with SSP Weld and Johnny S Weld, Johnny Snyder, and but it was super last minute. So I'm like, yo, can I crash on the couch? And it just so happened to be like a pull-out couch, like into a bed. So I was like, all right, this works. But I was in the living room, and I'm on the phone with my girlfriend after the show, and bah, 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 just gunshots start flying in front of the house. And
Oh my
yeah,
god.
she was like, is that gunshots? And I was like, yeah. Like, and then the last night, they left a day before me, so I had a hotel on my own the last night. And it was like, they call it a boutique hotel, so it was like a one-off. It's not a big chain, and like it was a real key to open the door. And it was a nice hotel, but like I was just done with Chicago and done with the show. So the entire last day, I stayed in my hotel. I shut the curtains and I laid in bed the entire day. I ordered DoorDash to the hotel and went and picked it up, and I just ate it in the window, just watching people out, because that hotel was right in downtown. So I just watched people. There was a hair salon across the street on the second floor, and I was like, wow, what haircut's he gonna get? I mean, at the end of that was too long. Chicago was, 4 days? Just for the show? And then
Yeah, I think so.
Chicago was a long one. It was
It was very long.
It
was very
I was
long.
ready
I'm
to
happy
go.
that this year's only
3
is shorter.
Is it
This
3 days this year?
I think it's 3 days. I think it's the 15th through the 17th.
Yeah, I'll be there for
So
I think 8 days. I think I'm gonna be in Orlando. I'm excited though. Friggin',
I'm
Andrew's a
excited.
native. He's gonna know what to do. We're gonna go fish. I'm trying to catch something I never.
You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to take carp fishing with you because he needs to catch a shark again.
I want to catch something that we don't have here. Andrew, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
Everything.
What was it that you took a picture with? You were like squatted down with that big cigar in your mouth with the.
Oh, that was I was squatting on a log. That was a redfish. Yep.
That's what I want to catch. That thing looks sweet.
Backcountry. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward. Have you been to Florida before?
Yeah, I've been to. We were just in Miami in April, and then I've been to Orlando. I've been to all over Florida before, like a bunch of different times. So I enjoy it. It's just like during the summer, it's so muggy, and like it's kind of miserable to be down there.
What, humid or what?
Yeah, like just the humidity is what's gonna get me. But I can handle the heat. Just like a second it gets all like sticky outside, I'm like, no, thank you.
Yep. I was dealing with that yesterday. I got home from work and just still drenched in sweat and just nasty. Oh, it's great.
Are we coming at a good time, Andrew?
Oh yeah, y'all are coming at a better time. Yep.
Okay.
That's it. Any time after August is usually a better time to come.
So, Eve, what keeps you motivated day to day? Y'all should do like a welding competition video now, and then 1 year from now, and then 2 years from now, and then just to track like progress. That'd be cool. Oh, that's a good idea.
That's
Yeah,
a good thought.
yeah, that's a pretty good idea, huh? So, what have some of the hardships been throughout your career so far?
But definitely, I want to say like probably the biggest thing for me was when I kind of realized that at my last job that I did end up getting fired for being a girl. It was very discouraging, and I was kind of ready to like kind of be done with welding completely. And then Robert helped me, like, help motivate me some more. And he was like, "Let's just get in the garage. Let's keep on working on like getting better. And like you're gonna get another job. You're gonna be fine. Like it's just a job." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like I was treated so poorly there, and I'm just like that was probably one of the hardest things I had to go through with welding was just trying to deal with the people that would come at me on a daily basis and like cuss me out and make me sandblast and refuse to let me weld and tell me if I dip my tungsten one more time that I will never be allowed to weld again.
What the
And so yeah, it was all over the place, but a lot of it now is just because like when I post on social media, I get a lot of comments about um, me looking young or me. They also like recently had this idea that I have a deeper voice and that I sound like a 12-year-old boy. Um, so it's just I try my best not to read those comments, but like when a video first starts blowing up, I'm like, oh my god, a video is blowing up again. Like let's read some things because that one video I posted hit like 13.3 million views, and after a while, like I could not keep up with it. I was like, I have to put my phone on do not disturb and like leave it alone because it's gonna kill me on the inside if I keep on reading these things. I should not let people that are mean to me on the internet get to me, but they do, and I can't really help that. So
have I don't know. Like, have you seen that video that I posted like 2 days ago of the ravioli?
yes,
That was hilarious, dude.
That's at like 2 point something million views, right? And like when I put it in that aluminum tube, I was just trying to dump heat in it. So like I'm literally running like this, like fast. I'm not trying to get a nice looking weld. And some guy commented, with welds like that, you're not much of a welder. But I like what I started doing a couple months ago. I just like to respond with a video to those hate comments because like then I don't have to put any text and people like seeing shit talk. So like I feel like that always does pretty well.
The drama works. It works.
There was like I think the one comment that like stuck with me the most because I did kind of like snap back at him in the comments. He said, "You're too little to be talking like that." And I said, "And what are you, a giraffe?" And everyone in the comments just started roasting this dude. And it was so funny to just read that stuff like that. Like comment me like talk like saying that to him. I think it has like over 10,000 likes on it right now.
Oh,
But it's just it's like a lot of people saw that stuff. Like it was because I burnt my arm, and then they were like, "Well, welcome to welding," and I'm like, I've been welding for some while now. You're just gonna burn yourself. I just had a reaction. Like I have this one right here on my arm. It's actually heart shaped right now because I was I was welding at work and I had to do some build up and I hit my arm and I screamed so I was like, God fucking damn it. Oh, it was so bad. And then it was so funny because I was like just in a mood that day. And one of the guys in the booth next to me, he was like, you dropped your helmet on the ground. And I look at him and go, it's not a helmet, it's a hood. And then I was like, not right now. Like, please don't talk to me. I'm going to snap. Like, I was so, like, overwhelmed. I started sobbing. I was in so much pain on my arm. And it blistered up right away. But it happens. But it's fun doing social media. But at the same time, it kind of gets a little overwhelming with everything. Yeah. But I enjoy it. It's helped me out in the long run.
So, you guys just built a new table, right? For the shop?
Yeah.
Are you gonna have to build your own now that he might not?
Just a little table, just like a foot shorter.
Oh yeah, I never thought of that actually. How high is that table?
When I'm standing, it goes up to my shoulders.
Because Robert's pretty tall.
He's 6'1", so he's a foot and an inch taller than me. So I just have to have I have this little block of steel that I just stand on, but we have a chair too that when I'm TIG welding, I have to kind of sit stand somewhat on that thing. So I definitely do eventually I just don't think right now we don't have enough room in the shop to build a table for myself, so I'm making it work as I can because we're in his uncle's barn right now. So as soon as we get our own house and have our barn in the back, we're going to be able to then have our own little personal areas in our shop, and I'm going to then build my own table, and it's going to be at my height.
That table's huge, and it's got a platform for his welders and all that. That thing's got to weigh. I mean,
I can't. It's so I have to help him kind of direct it when he tries to push it back into the place that we keep it. And that thing is heavy. I cannot push it on my own, just with how much, with the gas bottles on there, all the welders, all of the all the metal that we have on there. The table itself is just heavy as hell.
I didn't know the gas
it's awesome. Yeah, he made a little rack as well that holds them in there. That's pretty cool. He's very talented when it comes to being able to do stuff like that. But eventually, I'm going to try and make one probably around that same area, not as big as that one, probably half of it maybe, but definitely with as much stuff that he added onto that one. But I'm happy that when we were doing that together, that he was kind of we got all the material, he cut it up, and then I was the one to weld it, because he was I just don't really feel like doing this right now, and I was well, I'll do it. He never hogs welding time from me either, so that's fun. It's just kind of hard in the shop to kind of deal with him sometimes, but in the long run, he's a great person when being in the shop with. I'm not uncomfortable to weld in front of him. I kind of get weirded out sometimes when random people are well, what are you doing? Let me watch you weld, and I'm no, thank you.
Yeah.
Not right now.
That's at FabTech, man. When I'm welding in a booth and people walk up, I'm dude, fuck off. It's so annoying. I just so much pressure. I don't care. I'll weld for a video and that'll get 1 million people seeing it, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But, if you're gonna watch me in person, dude, just step a couple feet back. Let me throw this bad weld out of the way first.
I get so self-conscious when they walk into the shop. It's oh man, they're gonna see this, they're gonna see that. Oh Lord.
Right.
Yeah, I just get really shaky and anxious too, because so when we were at American Welding Academy in February for the weld comp, one of the instructors was oh, you weld aluminum, right? Well, this guy's working on aluminum. Go show him how to weld a bead. And I was okay. He is still learning how to weld aluminum, and I put down a shittier bead than he did. And I was oh my god, this is so bad. Because I just started freaking out. I was I don't know this person. Eventually I'll get over it. I know, but it's a weird feeling that you get overcome you, because when you're making a video, you're still working by yourself, and it's just a video is a video. But the second someone random walks in, I still feel if you were to walk in there on me welding, I'd be get the fuck away from me right now. Leave me alone.
It's when our company has a tour coming in, I'm putting all the nice welds by the door and then hiding all the bad parts on my table behind them. But now, what you said about sometimes it's hard being in the shop with Carp, I think my girlfriend would say the same about me. Like, she'll sit there while I work on something or film videos, and she'll help film, but like, I think sometimes I'm too big of a control freak, and she, like, I don't know. I wouldn't, if I was her, I would stay out of the shop. I'd be like, fuck you then. I'm not going to help you.
Yeah. The worst thing I want to say that what goes down in the shop is that Carp is always, I need a video of this. I need a video of this. So my entire camera roll is just filled of videos of him welding. And the second I ask him for a video, he only takes one, and it's the worst video possibly you can imagine. And I'm like, dude, like, please, like, help me out. So all of my videos really come from myself and like doing everything like that, because like I just set my phone up and just work through it all. But I'm constantly like being asked, can you film this for me? Can you film this? And like I'll be in the middle and he's like, well, I need it now. And I'm like, can you wait a minute? But that's probably like the biggest challenge with it all, is trying to like deal with making like videos and stuff and being able to get content out, as well as being able to make things when we're there.
I cannot imagine dating another welder, because I cannot deal with another like one of me. Like, I'm the darkness in the relationship, and it's a good thing she's completely in the opposite of industry, because like I cannot deal with it. That's crazy.
It's really nice because we kind of figured out that we don't really talk about work a lot when we're at home, but when we do talk about welding, we relate so much on it. It's like, I feel like that's what helps us out a lot as like a couple, is that like we work in the same field for work. We both are interested in a lot of the same things. I think the one thing that we do disagree on is like music. That's about it. But it's just like I feel like it does benefit us in the long run, because like we understand, like when he comes home from a long day at work, he doesn't really want to talk about work. He just kind of wants to eat and go to bed. And I'm the same way. And like we don't get upset, because I feel like we come to like an agreement where we just like meet each other in the middle and understand each other very well with that. So it has its ups and downs, but I really enjoy it because we get along and we relate very well with everything. So,
and it's like, another thing is, every welder is competitive as hell. So like, no, I just couldn't do it.
It's a big competition between the two of us always. Especially, like, I know he's a better welder than I am. I'm a better aluminum welder than he is. But if you give him an hour to practice, he'll be right where I am again. But that's like where it comes into play, especially because like what I said earlier about like I was known as like Carp Welding's girlfriend who also welds, and I was like, all right, competition's starting now, and game on. And so it's always like I'm trying so hard to like make something and like show him or get a compliment from him, and that's probably like the biggest competition between like just me myself, like trying to get motivation, like get better, is trying to get a compliment out of him, because it's so hard to get one out of him. He's so anal about everything. Yeah. But it is what it is. So
who have been some of your mentors or people you like can look up to in the industry?
Definitely Dabs, Lucky Welds, and then some of my instructors from back at Lincoln. I still talk to them to this day. They help me out, but I want to say like out of instructor wise, like Adam Holt at American Welding Academy, he has helped me out a ton. Like I can call him and just talk to him about something or whatever, and he's always willing to talk. But I would say like Dabs, Lucky, and then Adam, and then definitely Robert as well, because like before we even started dating, like we would just like we hung out and started welding, and like he's helped me so much. Like I can go and ask him any question, he just knows how to answer it for me in like a different way that like I can't understand the first time I've heard it. So that's probably it.
Yeah. And so you talked about disagreeing with Carp on music. What kind of music does he listen to then? I can't remember his answer, but that's something we ask everybody at the end of an episode.
So he loves some white girl music. That's for sure. Like some Katy Perry, all that. He also really likes country. So like we get along on those things, but like it's mainly my music taste that he doesn't agree with. Because I'm more so into like recently I've kind of gotten more into like rock music, like not like older like 80s, like more so like the newer stuff where it's kind of like deeper metal. I don't know. I just feel like it's like I don't know. I can't explain why I like it, but he likes he likes some of the stuff I listen to, just not all of it. He's like, why do you listen to this? Like you can't even understand the words, and I'm like, well, yeah, you can. You just got to listen to him. But he doesn't understand that. So, but it is what it is. That's pretty much like the only thing that like he doesn't like is like the rock music that I listen to, some of the rap that I listen to, because I'm pretty big like Logic fan. I listen to him a lot. I'm not sure like I don't know. He just like kind of is weird. He's always like, your music just sucks. Like, why do you listen to this stuff? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, sorry.
So we got about 46 minutes of good footage. If you had to choose one genre to listen to while you work or weld, just one, what would it be?
It's not really a genre, but if I could pick like one thing to listen to consistently while welding, it'd be Suicide Boys.
Suicide Boys is a good one.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know, like they get me dancing in my booth all to anything. It's so much fun.
I like the new album though. The new album they just
really?
Yeah, I didn't even add a single song to my playlist.
You need to listen to Misery and Waking Hours again, because that song is so good. The whole album is so good. What are you talking about?
Got the whole album downloaded already.
I don't like that album.
Yeah, I was at work when it came out, so I started listening to it. That's the one thing I do like about Night Shift is that when new albums drop, I get the first listen of it before anyone else, really, because I can wait.
I listened to, they went on to Theo Vaughn's podcast, and I listened to them on that.
Yeah.
Kind of promoting it, and I was like, all right, after this I'll listen to it. And I didn't like any of it at all.
It's terrible to hear.
Well, we appreciate you coming on. We'll have all of
Thanks for having me.
EveWalksTheWeld. We'll have all the links in the description. Go check her out. Congratulations on Lincoln Electric. And
thank you.
Everlast link in the show notes if you want the upgraded Nova Torch or TIG foot pedal. Free of additional charge. Order through the link in the description. And Edge Welding Cups, code BRINWELDS15. And Andrew.
And any and all custom welding hood needs, you can go to southernleatherworks.net for custom welding hoods and other custom leather goods. Thank you, EveWalksTheWeld, for coming on. We had a great time talking to you about your career and all of the ups and downs it's brought. We look forward to talking to you at FabTech.